B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we are heading to where it all started, the South Bronx, to talk about one of the greatest MCs to ever do it. He is an MC's MC. After a string of classic albums with his group Boogie Down Productions, the teacher went solo in 93 and would give us nearly 20 albums after BDP. This week, let's talk about some real hip-hop. Top 10 KRS-One songs, not BDP, that's a separate show. Just KRS-One solo joints. Joining me, Kane is back in the house. As always, Freddie Raven Krueger is in the house.
That's dope.
For you listening, he's wearing a Freddy Krueger type sweater. Like, what the fuck? He changed his name?
I made this hat to match, you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
That
The
is
Raven
cool.
Hunter with the 4 slashes.
That's
a
cool.
cool logo. That is a cool logo. All right, KRS-One. I will start us at number 10. I'm going to the year 2003. The album is Chris Styles. I really enjoyed this album. And I'm going with the song Underground. Now, I could have put 20 different songs here. They're fighting for this number 10. So many. But I always like the vibe of this song, talking about real underground artists and fans. And he's always spread the message that anybody can be hip-hop, anybody can be underground, right? And he mentions all the names of these pioneers and classics. That usually gets me. Just repping real hip-hop. I just kept sliding it back on. And the beat was by the Beat Miners, who in their early 2000s were really hot for they spiked and then went back down. But it was interesting to see that's who produced this beat. So what does it mean to be underground? My number 10. Hey, what about you?
I got I Can't Wake Up off of Return of the Boom Bap. I remember this song. You had it on a mixtape. Remember Hardee's? And you'd make those mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
And you had it on a mixtape, and I thought it was so funny. I still do. I think him going through, getting rolled up and then, passed to all the different rappers, and Redman gets it going again, and it's dope.
He knows how to roll blunts. I wish I would have known how this came to be. Like, what made him say, I'm going to write a song about a dream where I'm a blunt being smoked by all these rappers. But it's still funny to me. I rap along to it. Great song. And I made some damn good mixtapes back in the 90s.
Hell yeah.
Raven, what is your number 10?
Oh shit. Number 10. I actually went to 97, Step Into a World, Rapture's Delight, which I trashed the last time we brought up Chris.
Yeah,
and there's actually
trashed that a few times, actually.
There's a couple of songs, there might be 2 or 3 that ended up making the list from that album, surprisingly. But I went with A Friend. Just a great song. I love that beat. Okay, the beat mainly, but I don't know. I just love the whole I ain't got to talk about money and cars. It's just all I really need is my craft and my friend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just always stuck out to me. Well, always since I re-listened to these.
I had this whole big speech ready to defend that album when you trashed it. Just like my Yuck Mouth script.
I done fucked you all up. But yeah, no, it's actually, I want to say there's a couple of songs, and it was surprising how much I didn't actually hate that album in its entirety. Like I thought I remembered I did.
Yeah, you dissed it a couple times. I was like, I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. Oh, we will roll to number 9, and I'm going to the year 2004. Keep Right is the album, and the song is You Gon' Go. And the scratching in this beat is so amazing, and that always gets me. Whoever did it was just a wizard behind the ones and twos. And as always, Chris brings it lyrically. But he's even a notch above his normal dopeness, I think, on this. This song always stood out on Keep Right. It always seemed just a tad better than everything else. Classic lines, a lot of good one-liners. I love when he says, why is the dopest MC always a dead rapper? I'm a real live rapper. Solid album, dope beat, dope rhymes, exactly what you want from KRS-One, some MC shit. So You Gon' Go was repping Keep Right for me. I had to get that album in there. So that was my number 9, Kane.
I got Crazy off of I Am a MC. Are You One This was like 15 minutes ago I put this song on the list. I was going through and like you said, these 9 and 10, they could have been 15 songs. Like I got stuck at 15 for a while. I was like, what songs do I take off here? But this one, he's just going off in this song and rapping so fast, and he just shows like how versatile he is. I really noticed that when I was going through his catalog this time, that he has a rock song, he has a song about the Mayans, he has like, it's just so broad, but also, he's coming with a message in all of them too, about uniting hip hop and stuff like that. Yeah, and this song is dope. He goes off in the song.
Always he earned the title of the teacher, because literally people like him and Chuck D, me as a kid, were literally teaching me things I wasn't learning anywhere else. And KRS always from BDP to solo always had messages and was always schooling you, but in a dope way, right? You weren't getting preached to. Well, maybe one of the albums he was preachy, but for the most part you weren't getting preached to. Raven, what is your number 9?
With that, especially Chris, I call him Chris, but Krs-One, he didn't go fast a lot, but he was really good in the songs he did it in.
Right.
Like, but he knew that wasn't the lane he wanted to be in, so he didn't try to jump in it. But he was really good at it. I went to 95's Krs-One album, which I might be my favorite. That album got so much replay from me. But I went with MC's Act Like They Don't Know. Just love that beat. Love that. I mean, DJ Premier, right? Like, what else needs to be said? And KRS-One just kind of goes off on that song. I just love the beat and the flow and just the whole vibe of that song.
Yeah, and he was working with Primo a lot in those days. There's so many dope DJ Premier beats on those 90s
He
KRS-One
sounded so
albums.
good on those beats. He
Oh,
sounded so good.
so good. Yep. Yeah, the first single off that record, and you're right. If even years ago when people would pick that as their favorite, I never really argued it because I could understand. Even if Return of the Boom Bap was maybe more sentimental to me, that self-titled album was so
So
solid.
good. And
So
it's
damn
like
good.
cohesive but different from his first album. I don't know. I can't really explain what I mean, but it felt like at the time it was the perfect marriage of beats and Krs-One's vocals and just his outlook and stories. And he's always been very outspoken about everything that
Right.
affects his community. You know what I mean? I just felt like that was almost like, I don't want to say a peak Krs-One, but just that album to me is almost perfect.
Yeah, I would say that might almost be peak as far as a whole album being that
Like
solid.
cohesively good, yeah.
Right, right. Okay, number 8. I'm actually going to the year 2002. The album is Spiritual Minded, his gospel rap album. And I'm going with the song Tears. I'm a sucker for on the real type songs, and this one is amazing. And although I wasn't a huge fan of the gospel rap album, this song was so dope I could not put it on. And to be honest, I probably would have had it higher if there wasn't, preachy type things and Bible verses kind of throw me out of it, especially at the end. I feel like I'm being preached to, and I just don't want that in my hip hop personally. But talking about rapping fast, this is a faster beat. He rides it. It's kind of like a 9/11 theme type song, kind of partially, but he rides it like a fucking Silver Surfer, just gliding on that fast beat so well. A lot of good meaning, so dope. I would be lying if I didn't have it on. So I stuck it at 8. Yeah, I was disappointed in this album, but I think a lot of it was too preachy for my liking. But Tears is the shit. There's no way I couldn't make it. So that was number 8 in my heart and book. Okay, and what about you?
I have How Bad Do You Want It off of Chris Styles. I really like the beats of this one. It's very simple, but I love the piano and the message, how bad do you want it? Like, he's giving people these opportunities and they fall short, and how bad do you want it? And then really cool part of this song, he says, how bad do you want it? And lets the beat go for 16 bars at the end, so you could add your own like to it, which is so creative, so cool. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, he's a genius, and all different types of songs. I know we
Mhm.
kind of touched on it before, but Chris Styles was a really good album. I really thought
Very
that aged
underrated.
well. Very
I was about to
underrated.
say the same thing. Like that
Uh-huh.
was a great album. I don't
That was,
remember if I had heard that prior to this, but it was really good.
yeah, I had remembered liking it, but it was way better than I had remembered. It had been years since I've listened to that record. What do you got at number 8, Raven?
Yeah, let's see. And Tears would have been my number 11. That and a friend literally fought to get, because
And,
Tears, like you said, it's a really good, especially the way he flows for the type of song it is. Really good. But anyway, where are we at? 8?
8.
I just went in with Sound of the Police from Return of the Boom Bap because that is an iconic song and I could not put it on this list. But really, it should be high, like way higher. But just from re-listening to this stuff again today, this list changed a lot. And I could not have it on the list, but I really couldn't find a way to get it higher based off how much I actually like it and not just what it's done, iconically.
Yeah, one of his most iconic songs, especially post BDP. It was an
Oh yeah.
honorable mention. It didn't make my list because
And it's
I
still a
know,
relevant song.
very
It's
relevant.
today.
Right.
It
Right.
hurt not to put it on, but I figured someone would have it on, and I could have had 5 from Return of the Boom Bap, and I was trying to avoid that. Okay, number 7. I'm going to what I think is my favorite one, 93's Return of the Boom Bap. Damn, this is some good hip hop. And I'm going with the song I Can't Wake Up. What a story. He dreams about being a blunt, and he talked about all the different rappers and how they hit it and who they pass it to. So creative. DJ Premier is on this beat. He kills that. Just the storytelling is just so creative. And I say it every show. It's just lacking from modern day hip hop. Like, tell me a story. And this is just a goofy ass story. Like, it's ridiculous, right? It's just ridiculous, but it's awesome. Chris kills it. The beat by Primo is awesome. I'm a blunt getting smoked and I can't wake up. I mean, shit. So I like that song too much not to have it on. So that was my number 7. You are up, Kane.
I got MC's Act Like They Don't Know off of his self-titled album. When I think of KRS-One, I think of this song. From the DJs that used it, it's such a this is his song. And his peak, I would agree. I love Spiritual Minded. I think that's probably my favorite album, but you know, his skills on this album are at the top.
Another thing that I always think of with this song is, especially in the 90s, I was huge in mixtapes like DJ Rectangle and
Right.
Stretch Armstrong. Every mixtape in this era had MCs Act Like They Don't Know mixed in
Yeah.
because it was just so dope. Every mixtape had it in this era, and it should have. It should have. I'm glad you guys are both liking that song. It will get brought up again. Raven, what is your number 7?
It happens a lot, you and me. So yeah, I Can't Wake Up is my number 7. I didn't know that anybody else would have this on this list. And you both have already said it. That's kind of crazy because it's such a silly fucking song,
It
but
is.
it's so different and creative. If I was a blunt, then absolutely I'd want Redman to smoke me. So,
Get you fired up again.
right.
No, it's just great. What they're saying, who they're passing it to, what they're doing,
And
how
and
they,
again, Primo.
and
So
again, Primo, yeah.
Yeah.
One day I said this in season 1 that I want to do a top 10 producers, but it'd be hard not to have Primo 1, 2. Yeah, I'd have to
he'd
think
be in
about
the
it.
top 3 at
3,
least
he
minimum.
would be for me. He would almost have to be.
I mean, I know you'd have Pharrell, like probably 1 or 2,
Well,
but
no, Puffy
Primo would
is
have to be.
number 1.
Puffy's number 1, then Pharrell,
Then Pharrell, yeah.
then
Then
Primo of all
no,
people.
then the Beat Miners.
Oh, okay, then Primo. Forgot.
Then Primo.
Puffy had to make one though.
Number 6. For the first time, I'm gonna go to 95 self-titled. And I'm going a different song than you guys had. I'm going with Rappers Are in Danger. Another dope DJ Premier beat. And the scratching in this hook. Whew, I mean, god damn. Just that Rappers Are in Danger just kills it. And it's the first song on the album, not counting there's like an intro where a bunch of people shouting out to Krs-One. But this is the first actual song and it just hits you right in the face. And like we've said, this is a almost a flawless album. So dope. Just some b-boy hip hop stuff right here. It was the second single off of it. Just holds up so damn well. I just love the way it starts off that record. So rappers are in danger. Was my number 6. What was yours, Kane?
I got the only one off Chris Styles. And we're talking about how he does all these different songs, and now he comes out with the song for his wife. And I'm a sucker for that stuff all the time. I love talking about your family, talking about your significant other. Like I
Mhm.
love that real emotion. This song is for these people that I care about. They're with me all the time.
Number 6 for you, Raven.
Number 6. I went back to I got the Step Into a World for Can't Stop, Won't Stop, produced by DJ Muggs. Because I really liked Krs-One's voice on Muggs' beat, and it's a very classic Muggs beat. You can tell it's Muggs from the minute the samples hit.
Mhm.
It has that Soul Assassins feel, but I actually really liked Krs-One just spitting, just fucking I'm here, on top of a Muggs beat. I think it worked really well.
Well, in that same era, there was a KRS-One song on that first Soul Assassins album, which I forgot about until right now. Made me think of it. That was really, really great too. But yeah, he's so versatile with beats, but yeah, you can never go wrong with Muggs on the boards, no doubt about that. We are halfway there. I will go back to that album, 2003's Chris Styles, and I'm going with the song Nine Elements. My first line in my notes is damn so motherfucking dope. We're getting to the best of the best here, and he goes through all 9 elements of hip hop, just straight schooling you on the foundation of this culture. The beat by DJ Revolution from the Wake Up Show. Again, great hook with great scratching. I love it when, Chris goes through the elements, then he comes in and he's like, skaters, BMX bike riders, rock, don't ever stop. You are hip hop. I just love how this ambassador for the culture, who's respected among his peers, always preached that anyone, you, this white kid in Wisconsin, could be hip hop. And that always hit me. That always fucking hit me. And that's what this song reminded me of, me listening to uh, KRS in the 90s and thinking, "Oh, I can be hip hop." So I love this song, 9 elements. Then at the end, scratching madness, just like that. So 9 elements was my number 5. Can you are up at 5?
I got Step Into a World on I Got Next. Another iconic song that, when I think of KRS, I think of this song. Definitely a song that I think that has had, in KRS has had such an influence on hip hop. Like it's like where it started with him. And he's kind of talking about that on this song and then like focus on being a dope MC and not so much on like whole marketing to it.
Mhm.
Like be part of this culture. You don't have to be all this other stuff.
Yeah, I love when he says, "I'm not the run of the mill, because for the mill I don't run."
Right.
I
Right.
mean, yeah, that's a classic song that will probably get brought up again. I'm not saying I'm gonna bring it up. I can just sense that Raven's gonna bring it up. What's your number
That
5?
right? That right? My number 5. So this song it was released on, I think it might have been a streaming only thing called Digital. It's an album from 2003 that Krs-One put out, and the song's called Hip Hop versus Rap, but it originally appeared as a B-side to the Sound of the Police vinyl, and I actually remember having that record, and I've always loved that fucking song. It's such a hard song, such a hard beat. I did not take note of who actually made that beat. It's hard to find any info on that song online. Like just finding that it was on more than that 12-inch single took forever. And then I stumbled on my wife actually on Spotify stumbled across that Digital that I'd never seen. And it just looks like a bunch of older tracks compiled and stuff.
Yeah, I know it from the B side, and that's a nice
Yep.
B cut to pick.
I used to have that vinyl.
I
That's what made me
completely
look for that shit.
Oh, I completely forgot about that song. That is a good song. Shit. I must have missed that digital one because I thought I
Yeah, I
went
hadn't
through
even seen
everything
it.
I didn't have,
Um,
but
And then
Right.
she pulled it up because she searched on Spotify for that song, and she's like, "Oh, it's on
Found it.
digital." And I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck that is."
What the
But all
fuck is
right,
digital? Oh, that's awesome you brought that up. Completely forgot about that song. I used to rock that beat cut all the time. Number four, and I'm kind of like a psychic. Can predict the future. For my number four, I'm going to 1997's I Got Next with Step Into a World, Rapture's Delight. This song is the definition of hip hop to me. And my next line is a lot of people shit on this album and then was going to stare at you. But I thought it does have a more polished production, right? It doesn't sound like boom bap. It doesn't sound like self-titled. But he's still MCing on here. It samples the classic Blondie song Rapture from the early 80s. She's probably the first white rapper I ever saw rap.
she's
The
credited for being one of the first like
Mhm.
rappers, period.
Right,
So it's
right.
wild.
The beat is by Jesse West. Just the scratching, the mixing, the amazing lyrics, the yes, yes, y'all, you don't stop. KRS-One, rock on. I mean, just every element of hip hop is in this song. And I always love the line, I'm not saying I'm number one. Oh, sorry, I lied. I'm number one, two, three, four, and five. I mean, that's some MC battle shit right there. Just amazing. And one more thing I wanted to bring up is I Got Next was the first CD I ever remember where I encountered an enhanced CD because I remember it came with instructions explaining what an
Oh
enhanced
yeah.
CD is. So you put in your computer, KRS-One would pop up, and he like explained what an enhanced CD is and was like your guide through this. So that always stuck out to me that this was the first enhanced CD. 97, we're using computers and shit. But it was funny to think back on how that was like space age technology in 97. Yeah, step into a world, hip hop in a nutshell. So that was my number four. What about you, Kane?
I got Goodbye off of Spiritual Minded. Like I said before, this is probably my favorite album. I do really get into like the spirituality of it and talking about God, and I really feel all that stuff. And this song going through and saying goodbye to his friends and being like, it's all right, we'll see you soon. And talking about how, we should not live so negatively and say goodbye to that stuff. And like, we could battle in like the third verse is about battle, and we could battle in hip hop, but we don't have to like do it in real life. And, we should stop all this violence and stuff. Let's say goodbye to that.
Yeah, I knew you liked that record a lot. We are still on four. We are on Raven.
I went with yeah from
That's what you
95's.
saw.
Yeah, yeah. Great song. I love
Hmm.
that beat. KRS-One made that beat and he wrote it perfectly. It's a yet another standout from the 95 self-titled.
That was an honorable mention. And just another example of a different flow pattern, even
Yeah.
when he'll break into like reggae or different
Hmm.
flow patterns, and it all sounds like it belongs. I mean, it's just amazing. The range. It's almost like when a singer has range, it can sing all these keys. It's like
Yeah,
Chris can
like
do
Drake,
all these
just like your
styles.
boy Drake, you
Just
know what
like
I
my
mean?
boy Drake. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you should have heard him when we're chilling in the studio, when I'm up in
Just Drake bumping.
Toronto. Yeah,
When you
yeah.
make the
That's
long
true.
trip to Toronto.
Yeah, just to chill with him. Top three. I'm going to that same record, 95 self-titled, and I'm gonna finally get where you guys had already gotten. MCs act like they don't know. The lyrical ability matched with DJ Premier yet again is just amazing. The lead single. I hear songs like this and I can't imagine someone who likes hip hop saying they don't like KRS-One. I literally cannot understand it. My brain doesn't comprehend that. It does not make sense to me. And what he's saying, this is real, pure hip hop, not about the money, about the love. He's one of the best to ever do it. This is another one of the videos I remember seeing on regular rotation when this dropped, because it was the first single. But everything else has been said. MCs act like they don't know because they don't know. Number three for you,
Mm-mm.
Kane.
I got Miracle off of Streetlight. Such a smooth beat again. I know you guys have talked about it so much, but I guess I didn't realize how many dope beats he had on these albums. I was like blown away sometimes. But this song about being a miracle, how being you yourself is a miracle, being kind in the face of hate a miracle. Your kids are a miracle. Every breath is a miracle. Just giving all this praise, and I love all that.
Right. No, that is a good song. I was almost surprised it wasn't an honorable mention, but that list got long too. I had to start kicking things off of honorable mentions. Um, okay, my 50th honorable mention from the digital album.
Oh.
We are on number 3, Raven.
Yes, sir. I finally made it to the Rappers Are in Danger. Yeah, 95.
Right.
It's another Primo beat. And my only notes, another dope opening track, Scratching is Insane. Those are the only things I wrote down for that song. But it's another classic, just iconic song from that album for me. I remember bumping that so fucking much in the early 90s. I played that tape way more than I played Boom Bap, and I did love Boom Bap when it came out. But just, it felt like evolution.
I
Like Eric
agree.
Sermon,
Yep.
where leaving the MPMD and then you hear that evolution. You know what I mean?
No, I would agree. He took a step up from Boom Bap. Boom Bap's just probably sentimental more than anything. I mean, it's a dope record.
It still holds up. It's
Oh,
still great,
absolutely.
but it is a noticeable step up
Yep, it
in
is.
terms of rhyme style, lyrics, everything for me.
Yep. I would agree with that, definitely. That brings us to number 2. And for the first time, I'm going to an album where if you would have asked me before I went through them all, I would have thought there might have been like 2 or 3 songs. For some reason, I remember just loving this album. And then when I re-listened to it, I was really lukewarm on it, except this song, my number 2. The album is 2001's The Sneak Attack. I remember loving this record, and I don't know what it was, but the song Hip Hop Knowledge is just amazing storytelling. He starts from an 87 meeting Africa Bambaataa. Bambaataa tells him, record companies ain't got nothing for you. And he just fucking flows on this fast beat for 4 minutes straight. No hook, just straight rapping, telling his life story all the way up to 2001, where his wife tells him, record companies ain't got nothing for you. That full circle storytelling is just amazing. And again, that fast beat, he rides that shit perfect. Beat is by Domingo, and just the vibe of it, just amazing. This is skills above skills. And even the ending where it's like a clip from an interview where Krs-One is explaining rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. I mean, that even adds to it. This is just, it puts chills up my spine, like no joke. This song puts chills up my spine. Hip hop, what an amazing song. So it had to be high. So that was my number 2. Kane, what is yours?
I agree with you with Sneak Attack. Like when I started making this list, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have, and I couldn't get it on my iTunes,
Mhm.
so I couldn't listen to it on my phone while I'm doing all my stuff. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta listen to it in my truck then because I know I have it on my flash drive. But same, I was like,
Yeah, it was really weird. I remember loving that album.
right,
I don't know
right.
what
I
it
think me and
was.
you listened to the crap out of
Oh,
it actually.
oh, hell
Yeah,
yeah. I
in
played the
the
shit out of
tracker,
it.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tracker.
I played the shit out of that album. I don't know why it didn't hold up for some reason.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got something from it on there. My number 2 is Hip Hop off of Maximum Strength. Such a great song about hip hop, how where some of it started and come up through hip hop, how we should join together through this culture. He flows so perfectly over this, very smooth beat again. He has a singing in the background, which I like, and it all blends so well together. And it's a really good message about hip hop too.
Yep, that was an honorable mention. It's only the third honorable mention that's been crossed off. Interesting. Although
Hmm.
there's only 3 of us tonight. We are still on number 2, Raven.
It's funny, man. You bring up Sneak Attack. The last time we talked about Krs-One, I believe I said I gave up on him after that bullshit Puffy album.
Right.
I didn't hear this album when it came out, and I don't like this album very much. But what blows my mind is Hip Hop Knowledge is the only fucking song that stood out, and that is my number two.
That's the
And that
shit.
blows my fucking mind because I didn't like that album, and I didn't think anybody would have anything from that album.
That song is so amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
it's nearly perfect, especially for the era of time it came out. You know what I mean?
that's the shit you had it at number two. Yeah, it's something. It's funny. We all agree that Sneak Attack was not good anymore, but I played it so much, so I don't.
I
I
know.
guess
I'd
my
never even
taste.
heard it back then. Like I said, I got Next put a bad taste in my mouth when it came out for some
Yeah.
reason, and that's I would put that leaps and bounds above almost most of his other albums at this point in my life. Like it's probably in my top 3 or 4 albums from him now. And I
Uh,
remember that ended me moving forward with listening to Krs-One solo career. And I don't know if it was just the video, I think was a remix that had Puff Daddy or some shit in it. And I was just
right.
like, come on. But
Though,
no, that song is so good though. Hip Hop Knowledge. That's one that if you don't know that song, you should definitely listen to.
yes, anyone listening, if you have not heard that, it's worth going out of your way to listen to. It is amazing storytelling. It's next level. It's next level MCing. So we all led to number one, and I'm going to 1993's Return of the Boom Bap. And no one has brought it up yet. Out of here. It had to be out of here for me. When I think Krs-One solo, I think out of here. He set off this first solo album and just on a super high point, once again, DJ Premier on the beat. That sampling of Slick Rick, Boogie Down was performing, ain't no joke. I mean, just done so fucking well. Chris takes you through his time trying to make it as MC, goes to the shelter, meets Scott LaRock, starts BDP, etc. Fucking classic. And if you had a system, big subwoofers, this shit bumped, just bumped massively, almost too short level bump. But we gotta take a couple minutes and talk about the video. I like to always shine a spotlight on videos that I just don't understand the direction of, and this was one of them. In the video, it starts with a doctor and this nurse on her first day on the job, and on the hospital it says Hip Hop Nut House. And also some guys come out a door and grab her, and it's Krs-One and a bunch of rappers and DJs, Kid Capri's there, just partying to the song Out of Here. They do the video. She's like rocking out with them. Then the doctors rescue her at the end of the song, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And she's all hip hop thugged out kind of. And she's like, "Yo, I won't be needing that job anymore." And there's a dude behind her that goes, "Yeah, sucker." But it has nothing to do with the story of him meeting Scott LaRock and starting to rap. It's like absolutely zero. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the song, but the song is the shit, so it doesn't even matter. So good. Out of here. Return of the Boom Bap. Top of my list. What is the top of yours, Kane?
I got Tears off of Spiritual Minded. This is such a powerful song to me. The intro talking about 9/11 and the soldier, watching the crowd as he salutes the flag still. And when the singing starts right after that intro, every single time will send chills on my back. Like, it's such a good song. And the message that, no matter what we face, we'll overcome as long as we do it with love. And he quotes, a couple Bible verses that, to about forgiveness. It's such a good song. I knew it was my number one when we were going to do this list.
I knew it would make your list and probably be high. Another thing I like about that, even when he's talking about forgiveness, he even said this goes for those terrorists too. I mean, and this is
Hmm.
at a point where 9/11 just happened, where every other American wanted to just kill anyone who didn't look like them.
Hmm.
Just shows how next level he is, not only as a writer or MC, just a person,
Hmm.
amazing. Raven, number one, is it off of Sneak Attack?
No. But
I like the little laugh before no, like, of course not.
that I replaced I Got Next with Sneak Attack in my mind, in case you
Okay.
haven't figured that out. So I can hate on this one, that's fine. But anyway,
Yeah.
The only reason I did not put Out of Here on this list is because I was 100% sure you would have it on yours. And I didn't know it'd be number one, but I knew you'd have it. But actually, super surprised. My number one came from I Got Next, and it was Step Into a World, Rapture's Delight. It's the epitome of hip hop, an MC. It's literally the epitome of fucking grimy New York hip hop, even though that beat might be one of the dopest beats KRS-One's ever flowed to because it's just so hip hop feeling with the Deborah Harry, the Blondie sample from the Step Into This World with that singing, and it's just I I hated this fucking song when the album came out, but it's my favorite song he's done now, and that's insane to me. But Jesse West killed that beat. He did a bunch of dope beats for KRS-One throughout his career, but Step Into a World.
Yeah, it literally has every element of hip hop. I mean, like, it's like,
Yeah, just the scratching, the wordplay, the
right.
MCing that Chris
Yeah,
does in that song.
the yes, yes, yo. I mean, all these
Yep.
elements that are so huge in hip hop. Yeah,
And for it to come out in the time of that Puff Daddy Sparkle, it still stands out as a
right,
shining example of what
right.
hip hop should sound like.
That's the shit that you were able to realize your mistake all these years. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely probably my third favorite album behind Self-Titled and Boom Bap.
Yeah. No, I thought it held up too. And shit, my honorable mentions from that album, you guys didn't even bring up. So there are a lot of, I do like that Friend song. There were so many. So honorable mentions, I think I got my honorable mention list down to like 15. But here we go. Ones that weren't brought up by anyone that I want to show some love to. From the Dangerous Ground soundtrack, Perhaps She'll Die is a really
Forgot about that song.
it's a really distinct, and I don't want to say weird, but I just always kind of loved
It
the
was weird. It
goofiness
was
of it.
weird, but it's
It was,
dope.
yeah, it was dope in a goofy way, or goofy in a dope way, or whatever. From Boom Bap, Mortal Thought, and the title track, Return to the Boom Bap. From self-titled, The Truth. From I Got Next, The MC. Oh, fuck, that
That's a
almost made
great
my
song.
list. That is a
Yeah, that one
great.
was another hard one. I didn't
Yep.
want 10 songs from the album that I said I hated
Right.
on my list, so I had to whittle it down. But
The MC was like 12, 13, probably. Probably. It was one of the last that got cut. And Heartbeat with Redman and Angie Martinez. For
another
some
great one.
reason, I love Angie Martinez's verse. She just kills that shit for some
Yeah, it's
reason.
probably one of her best verses. I never was
It
a huge
is.
fan of hers,
No,
but she goes off in that song.
I remember hearing her on that and then she had a solo album in that same era and being excited for it and being like,
Oh, it's like Ladies Night
yeah,
bullshit when it came
yeah, it's
out.
not that
Yeah.
good, but damn, you killed that verse, Angie.
It's
If you're gonna kill a
like Queen
verse,
Pen.
do it
Queen
on
Pen
a,
did the same thing. She
yeah,
killed a Blackstreet verse and then put out a bullshit solo. So
right, right. Yeah, poor Queen Pen. What do you think she's doing now?
nothing.
Let's see. From the mixtape Over Here, the Nelly diss. It's a fun song.
That is a fun one.
It's just laughable that Nelly would try to take shots at Krs-One, right? From Chris Styles, The Movement. From Keep Right, Fucked. Now You're Fucked. And then again from the Life album, which I kind of liked. That was probably the last one I liked most of it. Give Me the Gun. It's a real fast song.
That is a dope one.
Yeah, that's a dope
Yeah.
song. He's flowing real fast. A song called Freedom, and then a song called My Life, which was kind of like an Out of Here, another one talking about his career. And from Meta Historical, it's a song called Give Me the 90s, and he does all these rhymes from classic 90s hip hop songs like Bring the
I don't
Pain,
remember
and
that one.
yeah, he quotes all these lines, he builds it into his verse by like, I know
What was
Bring the
that one
Pain's
called?
in there. It's called Give Me the 90s. Give Me the
I'm gonna look it up
90s.
when we get off here because I don't remember that song at all, and I just went through all these albums. So
Yeah, no, that one's worth looking up. It was on Meta Historical. What are we missing? Nothing.
you guys covered everything I would
I
have had.
try. I try.
Oh, I know one that I like that I struggled not to put on. New York off of that maximum strength. He goes through it. The song's dope, and he has like there's a DJ like it would be in New York. It has this like real New York feel to it. It's a really cool song.
Yeah, we finally got Krs-One done. It's about time. It shouldn't have took this long. He's always been a top 10 MC favorite for me. And that really hasn't changed. And just think, if he would have never done anything except those 5 BDP albums, he'd be looked at as the absolute legend. And look what he did after. I mean, it's
Right.
He should be
Even his
selling.
worst album is not garbage. Like,
Right.
even his worst album still
Yeah.
has saving grace. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, Krs-One, he is in the books. So, you have a good night.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide.